get it. Like, Michael Bloomberg will be able to pour a bag at people, be like, oh, here goes you got it. Like, this just isn't, what is his fucking plan here? Like,
that's his plan.
No, but I'm
making sense of the chaos.
That's not how this works. That's not how people vote. We aren't, like, I know he's rooting for this whole blue no matter who, but I'm telling you, people don't vote like that. Like, as much as, like, I think...
But what do you mean?
I think there's this over talk about, like, oh, vote blue no matter who. And it's like, okay, people say that because it's kind of like the thing to say so that you don't sound like a fucking asshole.
Right.
I don't ever say that because I can't guarantee that. There's totally a person who I can't vote for. Like, I'm not voting for Michael Bloomberg. I'm just not. I don't care. I just won't vote. I'll go help people.
And I feel like we're in New York, so we could safely do that.
Yeah,
right?
we can safely do that. And that's fine. But, like, you're right. But I'm not doing it. I'm not personally walking and voting for Michael Bloomberg. So I refuse to. I refuse to. Because you know when people run for office and, like, they'll be like, oh, so-and-so voted in this year. Who did you vote for?
Right.
I don't ever want anybody to say, who did you vote for? I voted for Michael Bloomberg. It's not physically going to ever come out my motherfucking mouth. So it's not. I'm not going to fix my fingers to circling his name. And I'm a engaged voter. I've been voting from the moment I could legally vote.
Yeah.
In everything. I vote in local. I vote for my council member. I vote for assembly, district leader. I vote fucking presidential delegates. Like, I vote for every fucking thing.
Yeah.
I'm not voting for Michael Bloomberg. I'm just not doing it. And so, sure, you can come and steal the nomination. Okay, great. You can come and blow all the money you want.
The thing is, like, how do we get there, right? Like, we get to a broker convention by way of not having a clear. First of all, nobody's reached the required number.
Like, so nobody's reached 1,991. Yeah.
And then I think also, and I mean, I guess it remains to be seen, but like, how many? If it's Bernie in the lead, by how much?
By how much?
Is he in the lead? Right? Like, is there somebody
like,
nipping at his?
Is he at
his
1,800? Right, like,
exactly, and there just aren't any more left to pass around.
And everybody's sort of staying with their people. Liz's people will say, "I'll stay with her on the first ballot."
Right.
So and so, I'll stay with him or her. And Buttigieg people, I'll stay with him on the first ballot.
Then
all of a sudden, Michael Bloomberg pays the 1,000+ super delegates to come on his side, and tries to pay like. So Bernie Sanders keeps his 1,800. Michael Bloomberg gets fucking whatever, like gets the 2,000. I don't know how you worked it out, but like. He has
to have people on his side, like doing the math, doing all, like gaming out all these different scenarios, right? And looking at all the states and saying, possibility A, Bernie gets
time.
X, and
we're all watching this.
Watching
this
this
is not
occur.
like the 1900s and shit
where they just come
heard
back
about it.
and then it's like, hey, so this is what we did.
Right. I'm watching a man steal something. It's like I'm like on the camera watching somebody with a gun robbing a store, and I'm sitting here like. Oh, well.
All right. Well, we'll see what the result is.
We'll see what the result is. Like,
right. And then
so
I'll vote.
when we took the last time we had really a brokered convention, this is back when people really couldn't watch what was happening. I'm like, no, we're not gonna watch on television. We're all accustomed to the whole
are people gonna walk out in the convention center with bags?
Yeah.
like here you go.
Stop by reporters.
Here you are.
Yeah.
One for you.
Thanks.
Here.
And get stopped by reporters. Like, so what'd you do? Well, I took I took $100,000 from Mike, and I stole the election from the leading candidate. So
there you go.
Thanks. Hey, Mom. We going to Disney World, Mama.
That'd be me and you.
Right. But, like,
visit us at patreon.com/house party.
All of a sudden, we'll have we'll have, like, 2 new patrons, but, like, our money will be, like, at, like, 100,000.
Like Mike B.
Yeah, Mike B. I'm like, wow, they're making all of a sudden, their income is, like, yeah, what are you talking about?
Yeah, what do you mean?
But, like, you get what I'm saying, right? Like, when this is all said and done, just do we believe that people are going to think this is okay? And do we think that is going to somehow dull the voting turnout for
in the general.
Michael Bloomberg?
Right.
I know it will.
Well, and it absolutely will. Right, because like you said, you won't. Right.
Yeah.
And I see tons of people online or whatever, and I know that's not reflective of their life.
I'm not going to vote for him because I think it's wrong what he's doing.
Right.
I'm not going to vote for him because I think he's a racist.
It gets back to what we were talking about, like, do we as Democrats, are we okay with this? Are we okay saying, well, we're just going to match billionaire, quote unquote billionaire, with another billionaire, and literally show you him taking this shit over, like him paying us
from everybody
for this shit.
If anybody's gonna steal, I'd rather it be fucking Joe Biden. If anybody's gonna steal the nomination from Bernie Sanders, I like it to be somebody who's been in the game playing it for a long time. I'd rather be Elizabeth Warren
been a Democrat,
dropping a bunch of bags on people.
Right.
Like if it's gonna be stealing somebody, let it be somebody who I think deserves to rob Bernie Sanders.
But also,
Bloomberg
like,
is
the
in no
whole
position
process,
to rob Bernie Sanders, who has a movement.
Yeah, but also the process by which
there's
no Bloomberg movement, right? Yeah. It's just his money.
Yeah.
But yeah, the process by which like super delegates come into play and like second rounds of voting or third rounds of voting or whatever, like that is, and it kind of gets to like the caucus conversation versus primary, whatever. But there is something to be said about shit. Think about like when I was running for New York State Young Dems, caucus chair.
Yeah.
And like there was a point in time where it was like the two of us, two, candidates had to have a conversation, right? Like the votes were tied, whatever. They weren't really, but like.
And what was I doing?
You were instigating, and you were whipping votes, and you were,
making a
beating
fucking scene
people up.
Because I wasn't going to stand for it.
Exactly.
What do you think Bernie's people going to be doing?
But to me, that's what the process.
But on the floor.
But that's what the process should look like, right? Like because that's democracy. But just coming in and throwing a bunch of money, that's not.
Yeah.
Right. Like so. If we go to the first ballot and there's nobody's reached the number of delegates. The second, before we get to the point where it's like, all right, let's do a second ballot, that interim time should be people having conversations, just like a caucus, right? Like, come to our side, vote for us, give us your delegates, you give us some of this, you give us some of that. Now, maybe that means some trade-offs in terms of like, your candidate might get a cabinet position, or maybe we can, reach a deal in your VP or whatever.
Yeah.
But simply using money to
do it?
to do that, to convey that, like that's a problem.
Yeah.
And it's a problem for the Democratic Party if that's the route we go, and it's a problem for the country. And it's like it's setting a really bad precedent for the country, because from now on, billionaires are just going to decide to either run themselves or prop up the next person who they want.
Spend enough money to depress the amount of delegates that the legitimate candidates can get, right? Because now this puts a higher bar. In a lot of ways, Bernie Sanders has to win these races outright by huge majorities.
Right.
One of the reasons that if he is the front runner, which I believe he is, then he can't risk going in there without 1,991 because there's a man who says, if you are at 1,990,
right,
I'm going to steal that shit.
I'm
from
taking
you.
that shit. Right. And honestly, if I were Bernie, that's the message that I would start making now. Right. Like, if I were him, I'd say, look, I'm clearly the front runner. I know the race. There's still many states to go. We're going to compete in all of them. But shit, at this rate,
there's a monster.
He can possibly win almost every single state in this primary, given the way that things are set up. Like he's going to continue to get 35%, 40%, whatever. Again, Trump in 2016.
Yep.
And with all these other people splitting. And he should just, and it's funny, we were talking earlier about like, if I were a candidate, I wouldn't really be talking about my strategy while I'm running it.
Yeah.
But whatever. Like I would be saying like, look, there's a bunch of candidates out here splitting the vote. Yeah. And then Bloomberg is sitting around waiting
for that to happen.
For it to happen.
Yeah.
So what I need for y'all to do is see and recognize that I am the front runner. I am the person who has the biggest movement. I'm the person who's raised the most money from individuals and grassroots and all this stuff. And this is where we're going. And so I need you to come out even more. Yeah. Right? Like I need more. Like don't assume, oh, Bernie's got it, so I'm not going to come out to vote. Yeah. No, I need you to come out to vote. Every fucking vote really matters because I need
those delegates.
They're going to split, these 6 other people who are in the race, they're going to continue to split it. But I need to get 40%. I need to get 45% in these states to get the maximum number of delegates possible so that nobody's coming up behind me and attempting to buy the
problem
election.
Is with that theory is that at this point then, the cake is baked then. Because you're supporting Elizabeth Warren. I'm lightly supporting Elizabeth Warren, but I'm supporting her. But I'm not like supporting her at 100. I'm supporting her at like 85.
Okay, it seems a little lower than that, but that's fine.
Supporting her at 75. That's 60. Yeah, well, I'm supporting her. I am. I gave money.
You sure did.
If the New York primary was held today, I'd vote for her today.
Gotcha. Okay.
All right.
However, so you're definitely
I share shit about her. I even took down a tweet that was supportive of Bernie to make sure to add her in there too.
Okay, right.
Support both of them.
All right, you had like a 75%.
Yeah, I'm at like 75%. The problem here is that we are now getting to a situation where people are walking away from these primaries with 0 delegates back to back to back to back.
Yeah.
And when does it get to a point where there is no candidate outside of Bernie who could ever reach 1,991 before getting to the convention, where Bloomberg said he's waiting.
I'm waiting for that shit.
I'm waiting for somebody to come here with not the right amount of money, but right amount of delegates, and I'm going to fucking...
No, you're right the first time.
Yeah,
Money.
I'm not money or delegates.
You don't have my money.
And I will steal that shit from you.
Shit.
I'm going to steal it from you. I'm going to love stealing it from you. I can't wait to rob you of your fucking dreams and your hopes.
I mean,
and all of your supporters, who at that point, if you make it there and you're in the lead, is the majority of the Democratic Party has wants you. A plurality of the Democratic Party wants you. Just not enough.
Yeah.
So if I'm in a situation where I'm Elizabeth Warren or I'm Buttigieg or any of these people, there comes a point where perhaps we get to South Carolina, perhaps we get to Super Tuesday, and I'm winning. I'm coming in second, third. I'm getting delegates here and there. But because I haven't gotten enough delegates and this guy Bernie is over here racking them up, there's no situation where I get to the convention and I'm in a position at all to defeat Michael Bloomberg. Now, maybe Michael Bloomberg just hates Bernie, and maybe he'll say, look, as long as it's not Bernie, I won't do that. I won't come in and try to buy your election. But everything about Michael Bloomberg tells me that's not how his personality works.
Right.
He's in this, he wants it,
he'll
buy it.
Yeah.
He buys whatever he wants. So even if it was Joe Biden who somehow came in as a plurality lead at the convention, Michael Bloomberg might be like, I don't think you're strong enough to beat Trump, and he'll come up with some other reason why.
Right.
So I don't know. I just think that maybe we're at a point now where everybody just has to get the fuck out. But then again, maybe there are people who do want Michael Bloomberg to do what he's doing. I don't know.
I mean, again, the chaos helps these other candidates, but even still, people really need to look in the mirror and say, right, like, so there's Bernie and then there's everybody else at this point, which includes, Bloomberg.
Yeah.
But they have to look at themselves in the mirror and say, like you said, like, am I in a position to, A, surpass Bernie at any point in terms of delegates?
At any point. Even if I could get close to him.
Right, or B, get close to him in order to get to the convention and say, okay, well, because of all the chaos and all that, it's clear we're going to have to end up going to a second ballot. And am I in a position, am I in a position to, no, I can't buy them the way Bloomberg would attempt to buy the superdelegates, but can I make the case? Which to me is what you should be doing, right? Like, that's the way, like, I got in a back and forth, I got in a back and forth with somebody on Facebook the other day about the fact that, like, Bernie is still, like, and this is one of the things that annoyed me the most about him in 2016, and I'm seeing it a bit now, the whole, like, complaining about the process.
Yeah, he's fighting the refs.
Right? Like, you're fighting the refs. Like, the game is what it is.
Yeah.
You came to the field, you suited up, and you started playing the game, knowing what the rules were. Now, you did that in 2016.
It wasn't enough.
And
she got
you,
you.
Right,
got
and
you
you didn't win. You did a Hail Mary, you did whatever. We're going to keep the football analogy.
You and your people played the game expertly.
But then after the game, they said, all right, come to the table and let's figure out the rules for the next time we play. And you got some rules changed based off of what you wanted. Yeah. And now we're at the game again, and you're playing the game, and in fact, you're winning right now.
Yeah.
And I'm still seeing, like, some complaints, some working the refs, some, if it should be this and it should be that, and it's some shit that's, like, contradictory to positions he's taken in the past, which I don't really care that much about, right? At the end of the day, if the conditions are what they are now, you're going to say, oh, I should win because of X, Y, Z. And in 4 years, if those conditions switch or whatever, and it's beneficial for you to do or say this thing, like, whatever. Like, at the end of the day, everyone's trying to win.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the same way, like, in 2016, his position, it clearly wasn't his position that the person with the most delegates should win, because he wanted to get to the convention and have people, vote for him. He wanted to be able to say, well, look how well I've been doing as of late. Look at the states that I've been doing well in.
I have momentum.
Right, I have momentum. I'm doing well in swing states or, whatever. And so, therefore, superdelegates should come to me for those reasons. To me, I'm fine with you making that case.
Yeah.
If you're unsuccessful, then you're unsuccessful. Right, but don't be mad because they didn't it's like being in a courtroom and you make your best case, but the jury doesn't find for you. It is what it is. Sorry, bro. Like, you tried your best.
Yeah.
But, like, don't be so upset about it. But anyway, now his new tune is that, well, the person who has the most should win, which is contrary to what it was before. But I don't mind that. Like, you're trying to win.
But honestly, at this point, the real for him, he's in no position. He has no room. He has to get 1,991 votes on the first ballot. He has to.
He doesn't. I don't think he has to.
No, he has to because Bloomberg.
But that should be his goal.
Bloomberg has said he'll take it from him, especially him.
But it's still a matter of, do we think that Bloomberg will be successful at that?
I think superdelegates. I know some of these superdelegates. Yes. You
think enough of them?
I think
to give Bloomberg enough for him to get to 1991. So the
question is whether or not who's left standing, whose delegates are left standing at the end of the race, right? Who releases their delegates before we even get to the convention, right? Who says, all right, well, who gets delegates? Who's still in the race, right?
And who has them, right? Yeah, because a Tom Steyer could drop out soon, but how many delegates he got? 4, so it doesn't matter.
Right now, Amy Klobuchar has 7. We don't know fully yet what's going on with Nevada.
Nevada.
But, we don't know what those delegates are going to look like. So I wonder. But let's say that by the time we get to the end, the person whose delegates have the majority, or the person who's still in the race, is, let's say, it's Bernie, and then maybe Buttigieg
holds on and still has some.
Yeah. Do I believe that his delegates will go to Bernie, or do I believe that they'll be viable? I think they'll be viable.
I think they can be purchased.
There'll be some who won't. Perhaps they'll now I'm a Democrat.
I don't want to do
I'd
that.
rather either not even vote at all than to go with this man, or I'll vote for Bernie.
Or the other thing too is remember, but not everybody is so ideological.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When we talk, we've watched some of the results from other primaries and caucuses, and people have had one person as their number one, and then somebody who's seemingly so different as their number 2. Yeah. So you could very well have people who are rocking with Buttigieg get to the convention and are like, okay, I'll go with Bernie.
Also, a lot of those people. I will say, let's keep it a stack. If we go into that convention and Bernie doesn't have the majority, he doesn't have the number he needs, right? His people are going to be really unpleasant.
Yeah, oh yes.
They're going to treat people on that floor. Now. So we have to take, in fact, the Buttigieg people, will they take a bag? And will Superdelegates take a bag? Plus, Bernie's people are going to treat them, everybody else garbage on the fucking street.
That's something that Bernie is going to really need to work on between now and then.
Is that
that day? And he can continuously say, "Oh well, I don't know what you're talking about."
They're going to act like I
take
did
responsibility,
at your
right? Exactly.
I turned off so many people.
Scene.
I've lost you votes that you might have gotten from
but you also got me some.
But also got you some.
Right. It's net positive.
Yeah, net positive.
Net positive of 1.
I lost you 1 or 2 votes that of the nicer, the people who are a little more calm,
absolutely.
who are
I'm picturing some that
who saw all of these diverse faces who they didn't like, so because the caucus of color is supposed to be black caucus, right? And they saw all these, and then they see me wilding out, to basically telling people that, look, if you're a person of color-ish, you can come join Ish
over here.
It's right? Have you been near a person of color? Have they been inside you?
Right. Had sex with one? Then come on
over. And then probably there's a couple of people who are probably the Rockland County people, probably a doll would have come on your side.
Right.
But unfortunately, he's that's a little inappropriate. I think that's how Adal's voice. I know that's how his voice sounds. Sorry, Adal.
Shout out to Adal.
Adal just has Obama-esque vibe to me sometimes. So I'm there's gonna be people who get turned off brutally by it. Plus money.
And I get a little bag.
And I get a bag.
Right. Fuck this Bernie guy.
Fuck Bernie. And then
it's a risk that he's definitely running. And again, he needs to really take responsibility for the worst of the actions.
Yep. Even if he says I can't control them overall,
and which we know that.
Those
and
4
of
days,
course,
I need y'all to tighten the fuck up.
I know you're excited. Just be excited and happy.
There's gonna be
Don't
lot
be
of
upset
shit
about people
are
who
gonna
aren't
do
with
shit
you.
You're not gonna like.
Right. Just trust that you will win it in the end, and be cool and calm.
I think you guys are stupid as fuck. There was no Russian collusion. You can suck my dick. Trump 2020, bitch.
Hey y'all, we are back.
It's another week, and now we're back in New York City. We're not in Albany anymore. We're here. We're here on solid ground.
Back home.
On solid ground You know, just
where the air is just breathable,
just enough. You know, where I have full blown anxiety on the subway. We were on the train yesterday, and I was fucking having a whole. It was so much is going
There's a lot
on.
going on.
I don't usually take the train on the weekends. I usually just, you know, kind of
Stay
wallow
close.
in my depression
nice.
and just lay in my bed. And I was like, oh my gosh.
There's a lot going on.
There's a
like
lot.
A Saturday afternoon.
I was like, all these people
falling all over the place.
Yeah, and I wasn't feeling particularly well because I don't know that Pokeball bowl that I had was a little.
What?
I don't know. It messed me up a little bit.
Did it?
A little bit, not devastatingly so, but like enough that I was like, all right, I gotta lay down real quick.
Are you not used to eating so healthy?
That's actually probably exactly what it is.
Your body's like, whoa.
It was fucking grilled salmon and edamame and fucking seaweed salad and cucumber. That shit was like, I was like,
body's
like, you got me to go to fucking, mind you, across the street.
Amazing.
Across the street was Chick-fil-A.
Yeah,
and I was like, oh, let's go to Chick-fil-A. I was like, I'm like, but like,
how about here?
I was like, aren't they anti-gay now? He's like, yeah, they're anti-gay. I mean, they're pro-gay now,
or at least they're not
anti. They're
anti-gay.
Yeah, they're not anti-gay anymore. They're just meh gay.
Yeah. we prefer
the straights.
You don't do that,
which is all I needed
we
to allow myself to
have their delicious chicken.
Have their delicious yummy chicken. But we ended up eating healthy at the whatever Boqueto or some shit.
Yeah, but it was good.
I mean, it was like I said, it was good at the time.
I brought my leftovers here today. Actually,
I just felt like, oh, this is a little too healthy for my body.
Right, well,
but yeah, but on top of that, this week has been this has been an interesting week. It's actually kind of overwhelmingly interesting because we had a debate. I kind of feel like I was like having because we got back from
lot. Yeah, we got back
caucus
from
weekend
caucus
on
weekend.
like Monday night, and then we're kind of run into the debate.
Yeah,
and the debate was sort of this. It ended up being so fucking lit.
It was lit.
I loved it. I loved every fucking look. I've watched
best debate.
I think I watched every debate. Have you watched every debate?
No, because I missed the one before it.
Okay.
But otherwise, I've seen every debate.
Yeah, this was the best debate of all the cycles. Like, better than the first one because I was split up and shit, so you didn't get all the candidates at once.
And, wasn't as juicy. But, like, let's dive into it. So what did you love the most about the debate?
I think Elizabeth Warren knew what she had to do, and she did what she had to do.
And she did what she fucking had
to
do.
Okay, well, now that we know what the Nevada Caucus results are, she did what she had to do, but did it matter?
I guess.
But we'll get to that later. But, like, she had to go in there right after Amy Klobuchar had her great debate moment that helped give her a little. And people were like, "Oh shit, Amy Klobuchar is putting down her fucking foot." And so I think people were like, "Why wasn't Liz more engaged?"
Right, because I remember you said in that debate,
she sort of faded to the back. I was like about to speak like, "Where's Liz?" Because I don't know where she's at. So she came out. She was like, "No." And as we discussed last week,
she had a clear strategy.
She had a clear strategy, and it didn't hurt that there was a mega billionaire
literally next to her.
That like fucking Mr. Monopoly was literally standing right next to her, which made for great photos because you could just key in on just the two of them.
And I mean, can we just say like the wisdom of Elizabeth Warren and the Elizabeth Warren campaign to go to the DNC and advocate for Bloomberg being on the stage, right? Like she, and I think there may have been others, or at least others spoke out and said like, yeah, he should be there.
Yeah.
Obviously, many people, we've talked about it, Elizabeth Warren's campaign, tons of people have an issue with the way in which Bloomberg is running and what he is doing and all of that and just spending wads of cash to be able to get to where he's at. But you got to take the reality of the situation. We are at where we are at.
Yeah.
And if you have this man out here rising in the polls, clearly running, clearly putting himself in a position to be able to get delegates from places, then it's like, all right, well, we're going to have to find a way to hold him accountable, which means he needs to get his little ass up on this stage.
Yeah.
So she legit, like, got the DNC to get him up on the stage just so she could drag his ass off of the stage.
He said he did debate prep. No, the fuck he didn't.
Clearly you did not.
I don't know what debate prep he went to, but it wasn't. This ain't it. Because if that was what it was, and maybe it's because I think people around him, if any of the candidates have this thing where like, there's like yes men, he has yes.
Oh, absolutely.
I feel like
well, he's paying for them.
He's paying them so much money that they're like, look, I will never tell him the truth. So they probably had the debate prep like,
good job.
Or whoever was playing Elizabeth Warren, playing or any of the other candidates,
anybody else,
was probably like, you're a great man. Tell us why you should be president. Like they thought that was gonna be how they performed. Yeah. So he went in there rolling his eyes with a fucking attitude. He was
huffing and puffing.
Huffing and puffing. And she came out there with the ether telling him
from the bat,
the first, and because
from jump.
The great thing was that the first question off the bat was basically, "Why the fuck are you here?"
Right.
Like, to all the candidates on the stage, why the fuck is
Why
he
the
here?
fuck is this guy here?
And so it's set up really nicely for them to go in, and she made sure to cut herself in.
Yeah.
So Elizabeth Warren went there and she said, I can attack this
guy
man
right here
over and over again. But nobody knew that he was just going to sit there and just be the
just
worst.
take a shit.
He's going to take it, not respond,
Not
be like,
have good
I just made a fucking joke.
Right,
like,
yeah.
The responses were so good.
Yeah, like he wasn't even able to like rise above it.
He accepted the premise
as if,
of all her arguments.
Exactly. He accepted the premise of everything. It's it's really seems like he did not prepare.
Yeah.
Or like nobody gave him the tough questions that you just knew
never had
were
a
going to
real
come his
debate
way.
before.
On top of that, like he hasn't debated literally in like
10 years.
11 years.
Yeah,
exactly.
He looked older than I remember him looking. I will say, like, I didn't realize
Bloomberg.
Bloomberg got so old. I didn't realize.
Yeah,
he looked
a long ass
like
time.
elderly
He looked
man.
like an
Like,
elderly
he,
man,
little,
which
tiny,
is what he is.
Man,
He's tiny. He's small. He's wrinkly. He's
my memory of Bloomberg is from when he was mayor, so he was a little fresher.
And also the videos that they, the ads that they post, he got makeup, he looks his best.
Yeah.
Maybe they got some old footage in there.
Yeah, some old stuff in there.
Right.
And I was like, oh, okay. Well, he didn't look healthy either. Like, it's like.
Speaking of looking old, Biden looked really,
Yeah.
like, especially old.
Yeah.
I think in that debate too.
I think this race is starting to wear him down.
Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm like,
but at the debate, Liz went in, and not only did she go in on Bloomberg, but then she proceeded to go in on like everybody else. Literally went down the line, right? Like,
there's a video where she's like cutting. We posted it on our shit, so go there. But like she was just
and by on our shit, he's referring to our social media.
Social media. But she literally was like, oh. She's like, oh, well, while I'm at it, Pete, you're trash.
You're trash.
Amy,
fuck you.
Amy, girl power, you're trash.
But you suck.
Biden, not even gonna talk about you.
Not even worth my time.
Tom Sire was not on stage, but I'm sure he would have got the smoke.
He would have got the smoke.
But she said, I'm gonna come out here and I'm gonna take up all this space, and I think she had to because frankly, we're getting into a territory now where. You got to start making a statement. You got to start making a scene, no matter what happens.
Yeah.
And she had to stand out this time around.
Yeah.
Because there's not much opportunity left
to be able to move the needle.
Play around. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. And not just like bump the needle. You need to spike the shit. Right. So. I mean, she established that Bloomberg was trash, and she went in over and over and over again, comparing him to Trump.
Yeah.
Talking about the fact that he has, women who've had to sign NDAs to talk about the fact that, his policies, previous policies have been racist.
Yeah. I mean, and then also Biden was great. Biden, I will say, he loves hitting people on race. Like for some reason, ever since he got hit on race, he's been like,
I've learned my lesson, and now I'm checking y'all whites.
Now, right? Like, I'm on y'all, I'm an ally. You know who the fuck I am? Exactly. I worked with an African man. I mean African American. I can say it because he's my best friend. But I worked with this black man, and I busted my ass for him.
And I believed in him just as he believed in me.
And I'm gonna come out here. I'm gonna call this little fucker over here the racist, nasty, old, crusty, dusty, busted Bloomberg. Did you stop and frisk black people or not?
You did? Right. Ask me how many black people I stopped.
Like without Kamala or Julian Castro or Booker in there, it's like
he's attempting. Right.
Then, all the candidates it's fallen on Biden to be pro-black.
But I mean, that's his strategy. If he's going to be able to, if South Carolina is going to end up being his firewall.
It's not.
I don't get it. Like
at this point,
at this point,
his firewall is probably the fire. He probably still. His firewall is what old people's firewall are. Like he probably had to put the disk in his computer and put the driver in. Right. It's not a good firewall.
It's not a good firewall.
It's not the fine. It's not the up-to-date firewall.
There's some malware in there.
This is some McAfee shit.
Right,
like just a baseline anti-malware one. Right. The one that just like lets you know you got a virus.
Right. Exactly.
I'm not gonna stop
it. But
yeah,
this shit is fucked up.
It was an interesting debate across the board because, like I said, Biden really took it to Bloomberg on race, but I don't think he hit as well as
Warren did. Yeah.
Pete Buttigieg and Amy Klobuchar were going at it because I think he's made the determination, which is the right determination, that the two of them, he can't focus on
her out.
He can't be focusing on Bernie. She's taking some of his votes and vice versa. And so the two of them basically spent that entire debate just whooping each other's ass.
Right,
whooping each other's ass. Elizabeth Warren would pop in, both they
asses. Right, both of y'all are trash. Now go back to fighting each other.
Yeah, at one point she was like, Elizabeth Warren defended Amy Klobuchar as a woman, and then proceeded to whoop her ass. She like went and like protected, like, get your hands off her. And they were like, bah!
Right. Only I can beat her ass.
Only other women can beat other women. Okay, move.
And Amy was like mad happy.
And Pete's like, but I'm gay. I can fight a woman too. But like it was
definitely an entertaining debate.
Amy thought that she wasn't gonna get.
She thought she had a friend, right? And was like, oh,
Liz is right. We're the only people. She thought she had a friend. That the moment when she realized she didn't have a friend, I was like, oh man, poor girl. Sorry, Amy.
bless her heart.
Bless her heart, because Liz is out here giving smoke to everybody.
Everybody, you too, girl.
But it was interesting. Like Amy Klobuchar, it was a great debate. But Amy Klobuchar really, I think she also had to come and prove, right, that wasn't a
one-off.
A one-off, her performance. It was good, but it just didn't. It paled in comparison. The weight of the debate was all Bloomberg and Warren. And Bernie just walked away, just sat there, and nobody noticed him. And it was actually probably for the best.
That's what he did. Yeah, I mean, I think that he got a bit of smoke, but not enough. I mean, I think that what Warren's strategy there was, and I think that this is her strategy moving forward, is to say, look, clearly, and this gets us to the conversation about like what next, right? But like clearly it's shaping up to be Bernie's race. Yeah. And so there's Bernie and then there's everybody else. And now Bernie's not winning primaries or caucuses with 50 plus.
I mean,
it's looking. No, I mean, of course, he's getting definitely the plurality, but there's a lot of people in the race splitting up the majority of the votes that are available. So the strategy, the thing is, so it's the strategy for Elizabeth Warren, but it's going to be the strategy for everybody who isn't Bernie, is how do I consolidate the anti-Bernie votes? And I don't mean that to say that people hate Bernie, but just people who are choosing to not. They absolutely are. But I'm just saying, of the people who are not voting for Bernie, which is technically the majority of the people, how do I present myself as the candidate for those people? So I think in this debate, while she had Bloomberg as her medium to do that, her goal was, how do I show people? And I think that's why she went down the line, like slashing everybody and they should be supporting, like Biden's people should be supporting me. Amy's people should be supporting me. Buttigieg should be supporting me. Like all these people should coalesce around me. Because if you don't want Bernie, I should be your girl. And I think that's what her strategy was. And she did it through the lens of bashing Bloomberg.
She really didn't hit Bernie at all. Like even when she went down the line, her hit on Bernie is that I don't think he can actually execute.
Can do it, yeah. Right? And she cleverly looped in like the Bernie bros there. Yeah. Like she tried to like touch on that a bit, but like tie it into the whole like kind of policy thing. Yeah. She's like, you can't be out here bashing people or whatever when they actually have a plan to get the things done. So she tried to throw a little jab in there, which is good. Yeah. To start laying the conversation down about why it should be her over a Bernie. Yeah. But she's not there yet. Like she's not the counter to Bernie, right? Like that's not where people are still looking all over the place if they don't want Bernie,
because honestly, so we'll actually get straight to it. The Nevada Caucuses happened and Bernie won.
He shut it down.
He won big lead.
I mean, as of now, it's not final in terms of like where all the votes are, but he's the winner. He got it.
I think the last time we checked, it was like what?
I think there's 60% reporting in. And again, he's clearly won it. He's going to get the majority of the delegates.
Joe Biden at 19.6%, Pete Buttigieg at 15.3%, Elizabeth Warren at 10.1%, Amy Klobuchar at 4.8%, Tom Steyer at 4.1%. 0.1%.
And that's all that matters.
0.000 down the line. Wow, John Delaney's still in the race. I guess he was still.
His
on the
name
ballot.
is on the ballot.
I was like,
yeah.
I'm like,
because I think even Patrick, Deval
Patrick's on there. Michael Bennett's on there. Andrew Yang's on there. But so Bernie Sanders is the front runner.
Yeah,
he's not just the front runner.
He's now established himself as the front runner.
In any other case, if it wasn't Bernie Sanders, the Democratic Socialist, everybody would be aligning behind him. If he were a long-standing Democrat, right? If it was Elizabeth Warren, who was getting this
who got the the popular vote in Iowa, who won New Hampshire, who just handily won Nevada, who, you know, gave their, you know, campaign speech
in Texas,
packed house in the second city that they were in the state, you know, on that day. Like, it'd be like, okay, this clearly is a person. This is the Democrat. You know, that's it. But right, the thing here is the fact that it is Bernie Sanders, that he identifies himself as a democratic socialist, that he has been an independent and is not a Democrat.
And his people can be a little can be a lot of nasty.
People can be a lot of nasty.
And I mean, and that was
no, it's not all of them, and of course not. But like, if you look at every single campaign, where is that type of energy coming from? It's Bernie Sanders, folks.
It's very hard for people to say, all right, I'm kind of playing both sides. Like, it's hard for me to be like, look, I'm for Bernie, but I'm mostly for Elizabeth Warren. But if Bernie is a nominee, I'm with it. Without it feeling as though, like, oh, you're not allowed to talk like that. Like, you have to be for him or you're dead.
Or that's it.
It's like, period. You can't,
it's like the Bernie or bust thing is a real thing.
Test, right? You can't feel it out. And I think it's makes people very uncomfortable. But it also is, we're getting to a point now where, like we discussed with the Trump stuff, right? Like from 2016, it's getting to a point now where because if you look at Nevada, if you look at how it broke down, he won Black people, Latino people. He won women who weren't. I don't think he won white women. He may have, but he won women. He won the union that refused to endorse him.
Right.
He won their voters. Like that union was like, your opinion,
like leadership might say whatever, but
it doesn't fucking matter.
The members are like, all right,
the leadership
we're gonna go with this guy.
Member that he's gonna destroy your healthcare, and they still were like,
and they were like, stop saying we love.
We don't love our fucking healthcare. You seem to love. You seem to think we love our fucking healthcare. Right. We like our healthcare.
Yeah, it's better than other shit.
But just because I like my healthcare doesn't mean I don't want my son's not a union member.
Right.
My granddaughter's not a union member.
Exactly. What about them?
They need healthcare. I see them get sick. I can't put them on my shit.
Right.
So yeah, sure, I'm doing well.
I'm okay.
But
if there's something better out there for my kids and possibly for me, then I'm open to it.
And the unspoken story, because Latino people because Las Vegas actually has majority of Latino population is actually young. And what the story of that was that Latino kids, because they're the ones who speak English, are the ones who code switch. Right. They're usually like the translator for their parents.
Right,
a lot of immigrant families are like that, where children have to
telling them this is what your health insurance.
They're the ones on the phone with people like, "Hi, my mother's doing this." They're the translator. The parents actually look to their kids to guide them through American society. And so they go and say, "Who am I voting for?" And the kids are like, I'm voting for Bernie Sanders. You need to vote for Bernie too. And Bernie's people were smart, because apparently they were, instead of going to the unions in Nevada, they were going to high schools or colleges, meeting with the young Democrats of so and so high school, and getting them on board to sell to their parents.
Go to their parents.
And they didn't realize that the real union leaders in Las Vegas, in Las Vegas, are the kids. They're the ones who get to decide.
Those are the ones that are actually.
They're the kids. The kids, the kids at home, the teenagers. They're the ones who are the deciders. That have the influence. For the influence over their parents.
Over the rank and file members of the unions.
So it's like, it's interesting to me that this is happening, and it's like it's really kind of confusing to me, because I don't know what that means for my candidate. I don't know what that means at all, but I said I'm with Liz through Nevada. She's not going to be the nominee. Like, it's just over.
Well, I don't consider it over. And this, we talked about a brokered convention. We talked about, like, what does this look like in the end, especially with the Super Tuesday coming up, with all the money that's flooding and how everybody's going to play a role in it, right? Like, at the end of the day, the way to become the nominee is option A, get 1,991 votes. If you get there before the convention, that's it. You got the number. You're the nominee. If we get to the convention and nobody has that, then all bets are off.
Are people really going to? And this is like, I'm really having this emotion, because I think a lot of people are. I think there's something going on right now in the Democratic Party. Where there are people, especially establishment people, who are like, no, never Bernie. Right. No, I can't do it. I can't vote for a socialist, because for them, the word socialist,
it means something.
Is some shit from
it's
the
a generational thing.
I don't know that shit. I didn't have to sit under my desk because I was afraid of fucking nuclear bombs coming.
Right.
It wasn't my generation. I get it. We had to sit under our desk because you guys destroyed the economy, old folks. How about that?
Right.
We had to struggle with debilitating student debt. We don't have the same sort of fears that you guys have
older generations have
about the Bolshevik revolution coming to us. Honestly, y'all had a good life. You guys, y'all had Clintons and y'all had times where we're okay.
Yeah.
We've known nothing but shit.
Yeah.
We've known nothing but the
Economic
dot-com bust and
turmoil
watching our parents struggle for work.
Right.
We've known nothing.
Struggling for work ourselves and not earning the amount
that we deserve,
that we should be.
We know them as stagnant wages, debilitating student debt, fucking having to have a roommate at 70. Where I can't envision a world where I don't have to have a roommate at some point. Like, you're never gonna get paid enough. You're always gonna have some debt to owe.
Right.
We are all trying to hustle and run and make it, and we are still trying to live
exhaust ourselves
in this kind of burnout system. And both Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren are saying, I'm gonna fix that.
It doesn't have to be like that.
It doesn't have to be like that.
Systemically, it doesn't have to be like that. Right.
But it just looks like if we're gonna put ourselves in a situation where somebody gets to 1,991 votes, because as we discussed, Bloomberg saying he's going to buy the fucking convention if he has to, then we have to start being, at what point do we start getting realistic about this shit? That Bernie Sanders is going to be the nominee.
But how is that realistic? Like, I think, and I'm not, like, again, I'm not anti-Bernie. I have issues. I have issues. You can't just keep getting zero delegates every 5 seconds and then think one day I'll get a bunch of delegates. Like, one day it'll all work out. Like, there has to be some, and I'm like, I feel like I'm losing my mind because we've discussed this. This race is like nothing we've ever seen before. Right.
But I feel like I'm losing my mind here because I feel like people are, like, it's clear. Like, why don't we all just say, hey, let's support a guy? Because the reasoning for a lot of people not supporting him is because they're moderates and they don't want to see a revolution. They don't want to see, I like my healthcare or Medicare for those who want it. Shut the fuck up. Or whatever Amy Klobuchar's selling. Like
Post-it notes.
Post-it notes. Whatever she's selling.
But the thing is, I think what we're seeing,
but her plan's not. It's people ain't buying it because they have another option. Who's more famous.
There's several options.
She's like good. She's like Bernie Sanders has a brand name. I think that also helped him in Nevada. I think a lot of the Latino voters. Like, I remember Tio Bernie. Right.
Uncle Bernie ran before.
Elizabeth Warren's new. I don't know her, but like it's like those things where it's like do I choose a brand name Clorox?
Like I'm gonna just get Kleenex. But maybe these tissues are actually a little better.
They are better. Like it's like the fucking like Elizabeth Warren's like those fucking organic shits, like the nature zone, like the good shit. It's better.
Oh, I know it's better
than the fucking Kleenex. But I know Kleenex.
But I know that name. So it's fine.
And so that's the one I'm gonna get.
Yeah.
And they're
probably owned by the same company.
Like both owned by Procter & Gamble or Unilever.
Exactly.
So everybody's getting the money. But at the end of the day, like she can't break through his firewall. Bernie is her firewall. He can't break through the fact that he's formed this devastatingly effective movement
and loyal. Right.
And so in order for her to win, she'd either have to get a little bit more moderate and start trying to peel away, but I don't know if that's authentic to her. I think she'd probably lose voters like us who are like, all right, well, if she suddenly we're like, well, Medicare for all who
well, she's also a woman, so you can't just like flip on anything and then expect to still hold people or let alone grow, right? Like people will immediately say, oh, she flip-flopped, I'm out of here.
Yeah, like they do with the
just
super PAC.
Just by the fact that she's a woman.
Like she's doing with this,
right?
like they did with the super PAC thing this week.
Yeah, exactly. So she's been saying, oh, I don't want to take super PAC money. I don't have a super PAC, that's supporting me, whatever. But she's like, I've been trying to get my
other
colleagues to make this commitment as well, and it's been a year.
Yeah,
and
I'm not gonna run a race where I'm like the only one who's
exactly
broke.
Exactly. It's like struggling to get money all the time. Like if we're not doing it, then we're all not doing it.
We're all not doing it. And if we are doing it, then
cool. I'll lead the charge and let's do it. But
and so but then immediately people attack her. Well, she laid out.
Yeah.
Everybody else is using super PACs, but she's the one who's getting her ass beat for it.
Right. Exactly.
Because that's how the media treats women and people of color and so on.
Right.
But this is again the issue. Like we go back to like the Kamala conversation. In order to do something that's never been done before, you gotta
be the best.
You gotta be the best. And she's really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
But unfortunately, I wonder if the systems are just too much stacked against her.
Mm-hmm.
And now what a lot of people are relying on,
Mm-hmm.
are they relying on... They're relying on some brokered convention dream where she has some fucking moment where it's like, I've suddenly where somehow it works out as though the movement Bernie is building is not somehow going to just run over everybody.
Gonna sustain itself.
He's about to take the lion's share of delegates in Nevada. There's polling that shows that he's even with Biden, and I don't believe Biden's going to do well in
South Carolina.
You already said that.
Yeah, I mean, I think that,
starting to...
right. Yeah, even as today, as we're recording this, South Carolina Congressman Jim Clyburn is like made some comments to suggest that, like, Democrats will be okay if Bernie is the nominee, which could be that, like, 2008 moment for Obama, where people started to make comments like, oh, okay, well, maybe we should switch to Obama from Clinton and help to kind of flood all the voters in South Carolina to feel okay with going with Obama. So we could very well be seeing that here. And you've been saying that you think that Biden's going to lose South Carolina.
Yeah.
I'm seeing the possibility now that he could lose South Carolina.
He looks like he's coming in second in Nevada. He looks like he's coming in second in Nevada. A distant second.
Right.
But it does sort of...
But it fits
does validate
in with
the point he made.
Right. It fits in with his... Exactly. It fits in with his theory of the case that he'll do better with people of color. And so that's...
It's the highest showing he's ever had.
Exactly. So that's going to have to be, his message going forward out of Nevada into South Carolina to try to hold that firewall, to try to keep Bernie from creeping up and surpassing him. So that's why I still think, the odds are that Biden is able to pull it out in South Carolina. Yeah, I think so. But I'm seeing that he could lose it, right? Like I think it's given the time. What is it? A week? We have a week before South Carolina. So I think that if he's able to really put in the work there and put forward that message of like, look how well I'm doing with people of color and what have you, and not have any more gaffes or anything, not fuck up between now and then.
Is there a debate?
He certainly could.
It's gotta be another debate.
Yes.
And
there's a debate this week. So let's see what his performance is. Let's see the performance of other people.
Do you think with the debate, the reason Elizabeth Warren... Because from what I understand, that she was actually doing better on the people who voted the day of, but because a good chunk of the voters had already voted in early voting,
right.
Too late.
So that was the thing with Nevada too, and as we talk about how that great debate performance by her, what's coming from the campaign is like, we saw the metrics that they're looking at is like, obviously there's a chunk of people who voted before, so you can't look at them and say, how did the debate impact them? But of the people who voted the day of, there's a huge difference between the Warren support in those like 75,000 people that voted early versus the Warren support the day of. And in some cases it spiked by 30%. So it's like
doing
clearly
pretty well in the reallocations, right?
So clearly like her debate performance helped her. I just think that Nevada isn't the place to display that.
People in Nevada,
given how many people,
majority actually, I think 2/3,
and given the way they work and all this stuff in the industries there, it's like, all right, I can go on this day, but not that day, or what have you. So her great debate performance, Nevada isn't a good way to check how it impacts. But it's like, is South Carolina gonna be that? Is that too far away? Like, there, like we said, there is another debate, so we'll see, how well she does there and if she's able to build momentum. But I mean, she's raised a lot of money since that debate, even. But ultimately, getting back to the conversation about like how, like to your point, like Bernie is the front runner.
Bernie's the front runner.
But
Amy
there is South Carolina, and there is
Minnesota for her
election
suite last night. I totally expected her to drop out. I was like, she's at home for no reason. She's like, oh, it's the first day in Super Tuesday. But, at home.
She went home to feel comfortable.
She went home to feel comfortable.
Like,
I was like, she's about to drop out. People who judge his audience looked a little light at his thing. Joe Biden was like, he had people call him the comeback kid.
Okay,
all right,
cut it out.
Stop
girl.
it. You're
Stop.
like, but like I wholly expect, because we talked about this last week, that Amy Klobuchar, they set her up for failure. Like they got her feeling herself after New Hampshire.
Yeah.
And we all knew the moment they rounded the corner into even a touch of brown, she's back at 5th. She's leaving with no delegates probably.
Yeah.
So
she's not gonna get shit.
She's not
in
gonna get shit in South Carolina.
Not
that ain't
happening.
it. I was like,
and she's also not even really campaigning much there or spending money.
I predict she drops out before South Carolina.
Yeah,
I think sometime during this week she says
maybe she does the debate, sees if maybe she can boost, maybe get a little money or have another good performance. But if it's not looking like it, then
she's probably gonna run out of money. You know, she probably got a spike after the debate and after her performance in New Hampshire, but. Money
I could see her possibly sticking it out to Super Tuesday still though, just because I see I know what we need. We do need 4 of, so there's Bernie and then there's everybody else. Yeah. Of this everybody else, we need people to look in the mirror and say, you know what, it ain't me. I'm gonna go sit down. Yeah. And I don't say that to mean that it has to just be Bernie and now the whole primary is done and he's our king and that's it. Yeah. But of the 5-6 of you who are not named Bernie Sanders, y'all really need to figure out. And I don't necessarily mean they need to sit in a room and decide amongst themselves, but like you need to look at the facts, you need to look at the data, you need to look at who is the person who can make the case the strongest to be an alternative to Bernie. And like the rest of y'all need to go sit down. Like it's not going to be a Klobuchar. It's Biden can absolutely stay into South Carolina, but there's a chance it might not be him. But you have to look at what like
his report card. His report card tells me that unless he comes in first in South Carolina, he really got us all. He's primed the pump.
Yeah, exactly.
If he don't win first,
that's it. Out.
If Bernie Sanders can win black votes. I mean, he showed he couldn't have but if he can win South black
Carolina,
not like, Western black voters,
right.
which is a different type of black voter. If he can win Southern blacks, it's over. There's nothing Biden can say to us anymore.
You have no argument.
So
we really need people to start dropping out. If it's a race between Bernie and Biden, we can see how that plays out. If it's a race between Bernie and Warren, I think that's a great conversation for the country.
Biden needs to be meeting with Amy right now. He needs he needs to fly his ass to Minneapolis or wherever the fuck she's from.
Yeah, meet her.
And say,
wherever the fuck she's from.
Hennepin County and say, sis,
come on, girl.
Drop out endorsement.
This ain't it.
Please.
Yeah.
Like, you're not going to
You're not getting anything in South Carolina. You're not
going to be the nominee.
Look at
Amy.
me.
Look at me, sweetie.
Look at me right here.
Look at me.
It's not happening for you.
Many people have had this conversation with me before. Right. I'm having this conversation with you.
I know how this goes. Okay?
You will not be the nominee, Amy.
It might not be me either, but it's definitely not going to be you. All right.
So drop out and support me. I know you don't like Pete. You could tell she don't like Pete.
Oh, she hates him.
Yeah, because she hates this guy, this young guy who's done nothing. Half the
nowhere
work she's done.
Near what she's done. Yeah. And, is attempting to represent the same part of the country. So, she can't stand him. But, people need to really look at themselves and say, if it's, if it's going to be Bernie, it's going to be Bernie.
Yeah.
But the race still continues. There's still so much more. I do not want us to simply just, say, oh, that's it, right? It's been 3 fucking states. Okay. I want to vote. Super Tuesday matters. No. Ain't nobody changing shit. You just want this shit to be done. Super Tuesday is a real thing.
Every election that happens, everybody's like, oh, it's only 1 state voted, only 2 states voted, only 3 states voted. When South Carolina comes and she's in 4th and 5th again, these people are in 4th and 5th. It's only 4 states coming. Once we get to Super Tuesday, that's only 10 states. Come on, guys. It's like. So what you're saying is that
I'm just saying there are very important markers.
Money is
the first
matters.
4.
You can give all the money you have in your account to Elizabeth Warren. She's not going to be able to have if she keeps coming in 4th, 5th, maybe a number 2. She will not have the money to come to New York. New York's too expensive to get here.
Right, I agree that she can't.
She
can't continue to be 4th, 5th.
Will she be on the ballot? Are she already on it?
Yeah, she'll be on the ballot.
But you're not going to. Maybe you will. I know. Hey,
I'm voting for Elizabeth Warren
in
the New York primary. No, I'm
Yeah.
voting for her in the New York primary. But yeah, no.
Amy's not making it to New York.
It's not gonna. It's not gonna be Amy. It's not gonna be these other people. But somebody needs to, or the non-Bernie folks need to whittle themselves down to one person.
Yeah.
Let it be.
Who do you think it will be?
Let it be a conversation between Bernie and one other person, and let's see where Democrats want to go from there. Because if we allow this to go to the convention, you are allowing Bloomberg the ability to buy the shit,
to play in our faces with his money.
Yeah, and if we don't even want to get to that, then we need to wrap this shit up before we get there.
We need to. Bernie Sanders, like we said before, has to keep winning big.
Yeah,
he has to keep winning at levels that, like he did in Nevada.
Yeah, he needs to drive. He needs to drive the vote up. Yeah,
we had a conversation in a couple episodes ago that said we were like, Bernie's not a part of the Democratic Party, and we laid it out as it's a party. And you know what? There's people who get to come to the party and they're known and they're invited.
They come at every party.
Yeah. Sometimes it's whatever, but that he walks in and says it's my party, and that's why people haven't welcomed him. He's not a Democrat, right? This is a conversation we had. If he's the nominee, which it looks as though he's going to be, and I'm just being completely honest, it's his party now, and now the rest of us are on the outs. And so now we have to like come in and be like, hey, can we come in?
Can we come to our party?
Do you think that it'll...
I mean, I disagree with that notion, by the way, but
do you think
continue.
his movement will be bastardized, or that his people will feel that it will be bastardized by the addition of
us?
Other Democrats, establishment Democrats, Elizabeth Warren Democrats? I don't see myself as an establishment Democrat. As you know, I'm just like, I'm from the progressive wing. I'm a progressive Democrat. I haven't gotten to democratic socialism yet, but I'm okay with what they say. I just, like we've discussed, I just think that we're going to get into a tit for tat kind of situation.
Yeah, all these fucking labels and all that, right.
Yeah, but it's whatever. He's saying he don't cancel my student debt.
I'm with it.
I'm with it.
I'm with whatever that is.
But like, I know people are gonna say, "Oh, you're fake. You don't really care about it. You just want to use him to get rid of your student debt." And it's like, I think that's some of the fear of the anti-Bernie people, the never Bernie people, is that one, that there's no place for them in this party. We are more able to dance in that world.
Yeah.
We're young. Fine. You got locks, so we'll figure it out. I'm a big old liberal. Like we'll get into the party. We'll be like, yeah, hey y'all, what's up? But there's people who have been Democrats their whole lives who are seeing that their party is leaving them. The leader of the party potentially is somebody who they can't even fake the entrance into the Bernie Sanders Democratic Party. There's no space for them. Yeah. And is that
like
the
you
fear?
can throw on a Bernie shirt, but you get clocked immediately by the bouncer at the door. Like,
hi, how are you, kids?
Right, exactly.
Feel the burn.
I enjoy socialism too.
I too feel the burn.
Right. It's like
it burns. It itches. Right. In the 70s, I used to be really.
I was with MLK too.
It burnt a lot. It's like I got down to. I did Quaaludes. Come on, kids. So I wonder whether or not that's a part of the fear as well. That generational divide too.
I mean, I'm sure that's some of it. I guess for the people who really see the party and align themselves with it, or like see that as part of their identity. But I think for the average person, and like I had a dinner with some like friends from law school last night. It was like a little kind of mini law school reunion, and like it was 6 of us, 6 people of color at the table.
Yeah.
And every single person had reservations about Bernie Sanders.
Yeah.
And I think for the most part, everybody was like, we could vote for him, but they had reservations about him. He absolutely was nobody's number one choice. And again, I'm talking about young, professional people of color. And their concern wasn't what's happening to the Democratic Party, but their concern was like our parents and the people who do come out to vote and frankly, the Bernie bros and, all of that. So I think, the party identification and Democrats and what it means
Sometimes
for us is going to be a concern for some people, but not all.
Like his rallies and his events, I look at them and I'm like, that looks like a fucking circuit party. Like that looks like a rave. It's like I don't know. I'm a kickback type of person. Yeah. This is the kind of place where you take your shirt off and let the sweat drip over your body and stuff. I like to hang out and like legs up, drinking with people, like good vibes.
Nice, comfortable couch.
Brown sugar, shea butter, 90s music, nice comfortable couch. Like,
right.
I'm not trying to be like
a little brown liquor.
It's like that scene in The Matrix when we were like in Matrix 2 when they had like that big like orgy party. That's what it looks like. And I'm like,
that's not my type of scene.
That's not my type of scene, but I'm with it.
But okay.
But do we all have to start doing that? Like,
right, exactly.
Do I have to start
is there another room upstairs?
Yeah, there's someplace I can go
where
chill,
people are just chilling.
And I support you.
Can I do
over
that?
There.
Yeah.
So it does feel like there's no room, and you're right. I think if we feel that way, and young professionals feel that way, then old folks feel that way.
Yeah.
And
no,
are
absolutely.
they going to say the way I say I'm not voting for Bloomberg? Are they going to say I'm not voting for Bernie? I'm not doing it.
Right.
Because of all the reasons, because he represents, communist Russia and, a time like, but like the Reds.
Yeah.
But like, do they say, no, I'm not doing it? And does it matter? Because I do believe that movement politics is the way to win. There's been articles about this for years leading up to this. Saying
absolutely.
Movement politics is the new politics. You got to form a movement.
Yeah, just form a movement. If you can get new voters, if you get like millennials now represent the largest number of voters.
Yeah.
Are we turning out to reflect that? No, not yet. But 2018, the midterms in 2018, it was the largest you've seen, the largest percentage of millennials voted in the 2018 elections. So we're demonstrating that we are starting to come out more than we have in the past.
Yeah.
And if we have the numbers and you have somebody, fundamentally, I believe that the nominee has to be somebody who excites. It may end up being the case that they don't excite me, but if they excite, then that's what matters, and that's what's going to carry Democrats over. But they cannot excite a small
Sliver.
but loud, portion and then completely turn off the actual majority of people. That's where we will fail.
His victory speech, I'm not going to lie. I tweeted about this. Like, I'm starting to feel the burn. His victory speech, I allowed myself to feel it a little bit more. I allowed myself to like sort of like, all right, let me see if I can
take
feel
it all
this.
in it. Right.
Maybe we should go to a Bernie rally. Like maybe we should like just go see what it's like. Like we have to start preparing ourselves. And that's what I'm like, I try to tell people, I was like talking to my family, I was like, everybody has to start preparing themselves that it's not going to be Elizabeth Warren. Because my family's for Elizabeth Warren.
I disagree.
It's not going to be Elizabeth Warren. You know what? It's not going to be Elizabeth Warren.
I disagree. We can't sit here and say that there is a chance that we go to a broker convention. We can't sit here ahead of South Carolina, ahead of Super Tuesday.
Yeah.
And I know you keep saying that you think that the goalpost is being moved. It's not. It's just that there are some significant markers. I think the first four. The completion of the first four is a significant marker. I think the listen. I think the first. Like I said, the first four, I lump them all together.
Yeah.
You look at where things stand after the first four. The delegate breakdown will be what it is after the first four. That allows you to see who has delegates, what are the numbers, what who are the people who really should at this point just get the fuck out, right? Because they have no delegates at all after the first four, or they have two or three. Those are the people who clearly need to go. After the first four, I think the people who are going to be able to reasonably and credibly say, I deserve to go to Super Tuesday, it's Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren, Joe Biden, and Pete Buttigieg. Now, there are people, Pete Buttigieg, I prefer to just be out of here, but he's collected enough delegates in my mind in the first four to say, I deserve to go to Super Tuesday. These first four states should not have that much power to be able to kick so many people out of the running.
Why do you think,
few, yes.
Why does Amy Klobuchar,
but wipe all of them out? No.
To Elizabeth Warren's 8 delegates, Amy Klobuchar has 7. Why should she drop out?
As of today, but the delegates from Nevada have not been allocated.
There's
yet.
no world where she's going to... What do you mean the delegates haven't been allocated?
They haven't been. Bernie's the only one who they've allocated delegates to so far.
She still has to hit a 15% threshold, and she doesn't seem to be hitting that.
Okay.
So her allocation is going to go elsewhere. She's not going to get delegates.
Again, I'm not doing a Iowa and then, okay, Liz needs to drop out now. I'm not doing a New Hampshire. Okay, and then you need to do this. Again, I'm looking at the first four as a marker in time. You assess after the first four.
Don't you think we all need to just start getting on and feeling the fucking
No,
burn?
I don't. I don't.
Just get on board.
Not before Super Tuesday? Like, that makes no fucking sense.
What
There are like 1,600 votes to go out on Super
Kyle,
Tuesday.
I will not bring this up again.
You absolutely will.
I won't bring this up next week after South Carolina, where she comes in 4th or 5th, and when Biden comes in some whatever the hell it is. I will never bring this up again until after Super Tuesday.
Okay.
After Super Tuesday.
That's the bet.
If she's only gotten like 200 delegates, Kyle, if you come to me like, well, we gotta get to Super Tuesday, I'm gonna fucking jump over this table and fight you.
Go ahead, and we shall fight on the show.
Yeah, we'll come over because
I've laid out my markers.
Okay.
So I'm not gonna renege on the shit that I think are relevant markers. Again, the first four, that's a significant marker. The first Super Tuesday is a significant marker. There will, a large chunk of the voting population would have voted at that point. And at that point, there's going to have to be some realistic conversations. Now, will a Kyle Ishmael still vote for Elizabeth Warren on April 28th, even if perhaps she's out by then? Probably.
Oh my God.
Because I'm a loyal kind of guy.
And you're gonna be like, all right. I can see it too. You like go to the fucking voting booth with like the Warren gear on. It's like with your billionaire tears.
And I'll say, hi. Where's Liz's name on here?
It's like we took her off. She dropped out like 4 weeks ago, like 2 months ago.
I'll just write. Can you just check my spelling? Can you check my spelling? Make sure that's correct. Thank you. Thanks.
Oh my goodness. All right. So I honestly think I honestly just think that like it's. I'm getting myself prepared to feel the burn. I'm getting myself prepared to feel the burn because I think
I'm gonna get you an ice pack.
I think the best way to survive a potential Bloomberg presidency nomination, which I think would tear apart our party, especially if the way he's saying he's gonna do it, he does it, which is just steal it, buy it with money, or just buy it.
I think it's buying, not stealing.
Purchase it.
Purchase it.
That's worse to me than potentially having somebody just overwhelm it. Somebody who's like somebody like Bernie who's overwhelming it. I just don't think that that's acceptable. Okay, are we under arrest?
Yeah, I think so.
All right. I think Bloomberg's getting us stopped and frisked.
Right, exactly.
But yeah, like there's that, and I honestly don't see a world where I want Buttigieg to be the nominee either. Right. I'm a little bit more okay with Buttigieg as the nominee than I am with Bloomberg. I probably would vote for Buttigieg, but I really, 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 really don't want to. So I'm starting to get myself prepared to feel the burn. I'm starting to let the burn come over me.
All right.
But I'm just getting with all the other candidates. I do think it's time for them to start being very real. Tulsi, Tom Steyer.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Need to start being real with themselves.
Klobuchar. Yeah.
And then, frankly, just because she's one delegate behind, and we'll see what Nevada actually bears out. But if it's still 8-7, Elizabeth Warren needs to start considering it. Even if she had a fantastic debate performance. And maybe she'll have a better one in South Carolina, and maybe that will see the real bump. Who knows? I'm here with it, but I'm gonna go get a pack of roses and start preparing myself.
It's game time.
Drink time to drink.
Hopefully not. Hopefully we're doing well, and so then we don't drink.
Nah, well then
but
we're not doing well.
I could use a drink.
I'm not doing very well.
I could use a drink then.
So we're playing a game we played before called 5 and 10.
5 and
Tell
10.
them about it, Kyle.
All right, so 5 and 10. Basically, we have 10 seconds to list 5 examples of whatever category or thing it is that we pull out of the basket.
And in this particular case, the categories are actually people because we're doing presidential candidates and their New York endorsers.
Yes. So in the basket are the names of some presidential candidates. Malik and I will take turns pulling a name out, and then we have 10 seconds to list 5 endorsers of that candidate from New York.
And whoever
New York officials.
So we'll do like 2 rounds, and then like because there's really not that many candidates like who are endorsed. And then we will who have more than 5 people.
If we fuck up, then we got a drink.
Yeah, and so whoever drinks the most loses, and whoever drinks the least loses because you didn't get enough liquor in you. All right. So who goes first?
I'll go first.
Okay, good.
All right. So I'm grabbing one name out of here. All right, you do the clock thing. All right.
Hold on.
Okay.
Putting 10 seconds on the clock.
10 seconds on the clock. How do I open this up?
Guys, come on. Everybody's been struggling.
All right, ready? I got Bloomberg. Okay. Let's see. The Staten Island folks. So Max Rose, Senator Savino, Cusick, Vanell, and son of a bitch.
You have some other people there too.
You
got Lovely Warren, Taylor Darling, Greg Meeks.
That's the other one.
Yeah.
I just knew that like Staten Island had a few, so I was starting there and then branching out. Yeah, Staten Island doesn't get enough love. So, all right. Am I doing this as a shot?
Yeah.
Well, yeah. All right. Shot number 1. Yikes, y'all.
You can do it. Believe in yourself.
Woo!
Time for me to kill the game.
And I'm starving, but okay.
Time for me to kill the game.
Okay. All right, we got 10 seconds on the clock. Malik has just pulled out his name, and it is
Buttigieg.
All right, 10 seconds on the clock. Go.
You know what? I'm gonna just go ahead and drink.
Just go ahead and drink.
I don't know who's endorsed this motherfucker. Okay, wait, who's endorsed?
Let's get there's some names: Amy Paulin, Robert Rodriguez,
Kathleen Rice, James Skoufis,
Mm-hmm.
Noam Branson of New Rochelle. All right, Jerry Goldfeder.
Yeah.
All right, let me take my shot.
Who basically I feel like is just his New York attorney, but I guess that counts as an endorsement. All right. So let's replenish these shots because I feel like we will still need them.
Yeah, we're gonna be. Clearly, we are going to.
This is a little tough.
A little tough one.
Yeah.
We probably shouldn't have done this round, this kind of game, but here we are.
But no,
all right.
you know what? We got a drink.
Let me get to the phone.
Oh yes. All right. Grab the timer. The drink is close by. I will need it soon.
All right,
All
10
right.
seconds on the clock.
Grabbing my name. Hold on, and I have Biden. All right. Shit. Oh, Cuomo. Swazi. Shit. Honestly, I don't remember. Yikes.
Cuomo, Swazi.
Who else?
Cuomo, Swazi. A lot of the regulars. The like people who are safe bets. Swazi,
I probably
John
could have
Patrick
just
Maloney,
guessed at something.
Charlie Rangel.
Oh yeah,
Monica
yeah.
Martinez, Kevin Thomas, Leroy Connery.
Damn, a bunch of my members.
Roxanne Prasad.
Yeah. All right. You know, I mean, people aren't being all that vocal about their support. What are you doing? Are you cheating over there? Stop looking. Stop looking at answers.
Okay,
Close the laptop.
Look, I have to. I wasn't cheating. If I was cheating, I would have got it right.
You're actually you're prepping yourself.
Cheat yourself to a shot.
I'm taking my shot. All right.
Damn,
I wanted the people to hear that I was doing.
Oh God! I'm like, oh my God, the delicate glass.
Sure, it's cheap.
It's Swarovski crystal.
Is it? All right, your go. Last round. No, look, he's reaching for the drink already.
Yeah, because I already know. Come on, please don't let it be like A.B. Klobuchar or some shit. Come on. Please let it be somebody good.
You got yours. 10 seconds on the clock. Tell us who you got.
Elizabeth Warren.
And 10 seconds, go.
Jessica Ramos, Yulene. No,
Wrong,
oh my God,
actually.
sorry. Yulene New, Alessandra Biaggi, Sepulveda, Harvey Epstein.
Nah. Also, Sepulveda is a Bernie supporter.
Really?
Yeah. Sepulveda is with Bernie. Jessica Ramos is with Bernie.
Oh my God.
But the other ones you mentioned were correct.
All right, Warren. Oh, Scott Stringer. Biagio's right. Liz Kruger. Rachel
Yulene is right.
Yulene was right. Linda Rosenthal, Harvey Epstein. Harvey Epstein was right.
Mm-hmm.
Costa Constantinides, Ben Kelly. All right, you know what?
She got a lot of endorsements though from New York.
Yeah, you wanna go try to do this together? This last one together?
This last one, we do have one last one in the basket.
Hold
All right, fine. Let's just do it for the people. All right. Oh yeah, pour another shots. Fill me up. All right. So
We'll do
between
this
the
together.
two of us,
If we can't,
we got 10 seconds to list 5 endorsers for Bernie Sanders.
yeah.
Hey, go. All right.
Luis Sepulveda.
Jessica Ramos.
Come on, help me out here.
Oh, I was trying to give you a turn.
Come on. Come on, man. Like, you just sat there and just took it.
Well, we were going back and forth. I thought.
How do we both lose and there's two of us? We're going back and forth. We have to win this together against ourselves. Take your fucking shot.
I just
Cheers
wanted to drink.
to you.
Cheers.
And cheers to another great episode.
Yes. All right. Play along at home.
Look,
Just
do the
drink,
best you
y'all.
can.
Just do the best you
drink.
can.
All right. So we got some,
So
we got a little talk back.
some quick announcements. We got a new party crasher, somebody else who joined our Patreon. So thank you, Christopher S.
Christopher S.
Really appreciate all your efforts towards the show.
And let's
and
also
support.
do another announcement of
I think
something.
there's
There's another
something else
announcement. I mean,
something else we want to big up.
I mean,
It's a big deal.
it's a huge deal.
Mm-hmm.
So this week, your boys were named one of the best New York political podcasts by City and State. Mm-hmm. We like to say the best.
Yeah, the best.
Because I mean,
we're in a league of our own.
I don't need the negativity of other names.
Yeah. I don't need that in my life.
I don't need that in my life. I only accept the things that
sorry, competition?
Yeah.
What?
Like we said, we're like the Birdie Bros of political podcasts, like New York. Like only we matter. But congratulations to the other nominees.
I guess.
But
to the nominees. But we are the winners.
We are. They know we like them. Like I do listen to everybody else's shows on that list. There were some people. It was so funny because I was on Twitter and there were people who were like, "Oh, they were like, oh, how about
what about
podcast?"
This?
And I was like, it said the best.
Yeah. It's not just a listicle of all
of all the podcasts in New York. It said the best.
The best ones.
You weren't on the list because you weren't the best. Mm-hmm. But we're the best. Mm-hmm. We've known we've been the best for a long time. But it's good feeling validated. So shout out to City and State Magazine. And Jeff Colton.
Thanks to Jeff Colton and all the folks at City and State. We really appreciate you guys listening. Mm-hmm. Continue doing so. Tell your friends. And we're going to continue putting out dope shit.
Yeah.
We got a new site coming.
Yeah, there's a website coming.
We got a little preview up now, so check us out.
We're updating our branding and so on.
Check us out at housepartyny.com. You can see the new landing page, giving you a little hint of some shit to come.
What to come. And so, yeah, thank you to everybody to all of y'all listening for keeping us up and, helping us be the best. Because honestly, look, we're only motivated for y'all. Like, there's days where it's like, all right, I'm tired, but you know what? We know there are people listening who are supporters.
We go out and people tell us how much they love the show.
Yeah, there's people who giving us money.
People give us ideas, and they support the show. And so yeah, we're gonna keep it
y'all
going
make
for y'all.
Sure y'all go support the show too. Go to patreon.com/houseparty where y'all will get extra shit.
Yes. Some really dope shit coming out that has come out, and you gain access to it by going to patreon.com/houseparty.
All right. So thank you everybody for everything.
Yes. We'll talk to y'all soon.
Goodbye, Kyle, the best. One of the best of the... Well, I guess we are the best host of the best New York political podcast.
Yes, that is us.
It's all right.
See you later.
See y'all next week. Thanks for listening to this episode of House Party. Keep that same energy by following us on Facebook and Twitter at HousePartyNY or Instagram at HouseParty.ny.
And of course, you can always hit us up by email at housepartyny@gmail.com or check out our website at housepartyny.com.
Don't keep your love for House Party a secret. Be sure to tell all your friends about the show, leave us a review, rate us all the stars, and download House Party on iTunes, SoundCloud, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Play, or wherever you get your pods.
That's it for this episode, so you don't gotta go home.
But you gotta get the hell up out of here.
House party done.
Shall never be safe.